What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? It is the day of training camp starting today. I don't think we'll get any huge news. I think it's mostly just going to be some walkthrough stuff and nothing crazy. We might get a little bit of news, but I don't think it'll be anything groundbreaking. But I will tell you this: when February comes around, I don't know where you guys plan on being, but I plan on being in the city of New Orleans. I plan on waking up early in the morning, going down to Cafe Du Monde, grabbing me some beignets. If you've never been there and you've never had a beignet, I'm telling you right now, you are missing out on a delicacy in life. They are phenomenal. It's been a while since I've been there, about 7 years, but I plan on going back in February when the Detroit Lions are playing in the Super Bowl. Like I said, I'm going to wake up that morning. I'm going to have myself a nice little maybe morning workout. I'm going to head down to Cafe Du Monde, grab some beignets, see some of my fellow Detroit Lions fans. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to win. And then we're going to hit up the French Quarter in Bourbon Street, and we're going to party like there's never been a party before. That's what my plans are in February, guys. And why do I say this? What is this episode all about? Are the Detroit Lions geared up and ready? Are they the type of team that can go on a Super Bowl run in 2024-25? This episode is coming from one of our members who kind of asked us to do like a predictions, and I'm going to take it and kind of twist it a little bit because they asked us to do a game-by-game prediction, which I don't really want to do because we do game day episodes and we do predictions. And look, I'll tell you right now, like I'm going to pick the Detroit Lions to win every single game. We're going to be favorites in 16 out of 17 games. It's going to be hard to pick against them. I don't want to say, I mean, obviously I'm going to be realistic and say that the Detroit Lions are not going to go 17-0. Like I think the 72 Dolphins are safe. They don't have to worry about the Detroit Lions. We're not going to go 17-0. I'm keeping it realistic, and I will give my predictions at the end of the show. But that's the question. Are the Detroit Lions built for a Super Bowl run in 2024 and 2025? Absolutely, 1,000% yes. And it's crazy to think because just 5-6 years ago, like, man, it was tough being a Lions fan. It was tough. Maybe even 4 years ago. Like ever since we got Dan Campbell, man, like before that, it was tough. Like we all suffered through the Matt Patricia era. We thought that the rocket scientist was going to be the saving grace. Obviously was not. Matt, we've suffered through a lot of different things. Bob Quinn, Matt Millen, say what you want, maybe a little Jim Caldwell. I know there's a split audience there when it comes to how they feel about Jim Caldwell. We've suffered, man. We've suffered for a long, long, long time. One of the most just brutal teams to be a fan of, but that's what makes us so great right now. That's what makes it so much more fun is that we've suffered and now we get to reap some rewards from all that suffering and have some good quality football. And for the first time in a long time since I can remember, we're talking the Detroit Lions being one of the favorites for the Super Bowl. So are we built for it in 2024? Without a doubt. I think we have one of the top rosters in the NFL, and that's saying something. I think the only true team, and I saw something by PFF that was put out it wasn't long, maybe within a week ago, about who had the best roster, and Detroit Lions were 4, which I have no problem with being 4. And I don't really care about rankings or anything like that. Like I really don't do ranking shows or stuff like that because it's just kind of personal opinion, but they had the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of the Detroit Lions. And I get it. 2-time back-to-back Super Bowl champs. But when I look at their roster from top to bottom, I don't think it's better than the Detroit Lions. I don't. I'll stand on that island. We can have a discussion about it if you happen to be a Chiefs fan and you're stumbling across this episode. You don't have a better roster. You have Patrick Mahomes. There's a difference. There's a huge difference. Offensive line, not better than the Detroit Lions. Running backs, not better than the Detroit Lions. Wide receiver, not better than the Detroit Lions. Like I'm just using the Kansas City Chiefs as an example, and we're going to get into what the Detroit Lions have to do to win this. But when I think about who has the best roster in the NFL, to me, it's either the San Francisco 49ers or the Detroit Lions. Take your pick. And we're going to face off again in the NFC Championship, I predict. In Detroit this time, you come to our place on a Saturday or Sunday night, whatever night of the week it is. I don't care. It could be a Wednesday morning. It doesn't matter to me. I know the Detroit Lions fans are going to show up. So what makes the Detroit Lions favorites? Or makes them a top contender in the NFC? Well, we've done nothing but hit home runs in the draft since Brad Holmes has been in town. Very, very, very few misses. We have some project guys that are still on the shelf that are, we're going to get some game time. We're Broderick Martin. We got some guys that, haven't really played, but that's okay because the guys who he has drafted and have played, home runs. Absolute home runs. Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, huge step. Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell, his first ever draft pick. We've done nothing but hit home runs since Brad Holmes has been here. So let's take a look at 2024 as the season begins officially today. And this is why I saved this episode for today. I think we got to continue the trend of draft class in 2024, who we drafted. Completely revamped the secondary. I think Terrion Arnold and Amik Robertson. I know he wasn't drafted. And Ennis Rakestraw. I think those three guys are going to be the key for the defense, as along with DJ Reader. That goes without saying. Marcus Davenport, stay healthy. And we're going to have 5-6 starters on this defense. It wasn't very good last year statistically. Our defense was in the 20s in a lot of stat-wise in a lot of categories. It's just, we improved. You add 6 starters to a team that made it to the NFC Championship game last year, you're guaranteed to improve. You are guaranteed to improve. And as well as in the draft, we drafted some guys that are, some offensive line depth, nothing sexy, but that's fine because I said in all of our mock drafts, the Detroit Lions need a ugly draft, and I meant it in a good way. You need a draft where you just shore up some stuff. We shored up some stuff with the offensive line, drafting Christian Mahogany, and I've talked a lot about him and him fighting for that 6th offensive lineman spot and just in case someone goes down. We just kind of had an ugly draft, and that's fine because I love it. I gave our draft grade an A just for those who didn't catch that show. So when I say an ugly draft, trust me, I mean it in the best possible way. So we had a phenomenal draft. We obviously had a phenomenal free agency. Like I already mentioned, DJ Reader, Marcus Davenport, Amik Robertson, Kevin Zeitler, who I think is a huge step up over Jonah Jackson and for half the price. So, we made a great economical decision there. Brad Holmes has made a lot of right moves that just haven't been overly sexy. I know it's really fun to think about like a new wide receiver or a new running back, but I'm telling you right now, I think Jameson Williams is going to have, I've said it a couple episodes ago when I talked about the Brandon Ayuk trade. I think Brandon Ayuk stats, like 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns. I think Jameson Williams is going to come damn close to that in 2024. I think he'll flirt with a lot of those numbers. I think he'll have over 1,000. I think he'll have 5-6 touchdowns, maybe 7 if he gets 1 or 2 rushing. Like I think he's going to be in that ballpark. So our offense, while in the draft and in free agency, we didn't do anything really sexy. We didn't need to. We didn't need to do anything sexy. We got a top 5 offense. You just kind of want to, we can kick the can down the road on a lot of different things. But this year, we're just pretty much running it back, and that's perfectly fine because there's a lot of offensive and defensive coordinators who praise Ben Johnson. If you guys haven't been watching the Hard Knocks with the New York Giants, they asked or it might have been in a podcast, I can't remember. It was the Bills defensive coordinator, and it had to have been in a podcast because the Hard Knocks has nothing to do with the Bills. So I remember seeing a clip on TikTok, and it was someone who was interviewing the Bills defensive coordinator, and they asked who's the hardest offense to prepare for, and he said the Detroit Lions. I can't remember who the Bills DC is off the top of my head, but he was just kind of going in and saying, the Detroit Lions do a lot of things, a lot of different things, and they do all of them very well. That goes to credit Ben Johnson. And I know we've kind of griped and complained about some third quarter woes and kind of coming out slow in the second half, but we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I'm not worried about the offense at all. I think at the end of the season, we'll be up there with, the top offenses in the league. I don't see us being outside of the top 5. So our free agent acquisitions this year for the offense wasn't sexy, but defensively we were making some moves. So the free agency, the new additions to this team are why I'm so confident that we can take that next step. And it's hard to get back to the NFC Championship game. And trust me, I wish we could just blink an eye and be right back there and have all those emotions and those feels and that excitement again. But truth is, you got to show up and still play football games. So I'm ready for the season to start. We got to talk about a couple other things. Some key moments from this past season, this off season, as well as the draft, as well as free agency, is shoring up our own guys. Penei Sewell getting his deal, St. Brown getting his deal, Jared Goff getting his deal. Like Brad Holmes went out, paid and took care of his own guys, spent a lot of money, a lot of money. I can't remember the exact number. I'm talking like 25 million, and Goff an average of, I think, 43, if I remember correctly, something like that. But Brad Holmes went out, he went to the bank and said, I'm paying these 3 guys. This is my core for the team for the next 3-4 years at least. So with that being said, I hate the term Super Bowl or bust. I absolutely hate it. Now, I told you at the beginning of the show where I plan on being. in February. I plan on being in New Orleans. I plan on being there, partying with a lot of Detroit Lions fans, like having a good time responsibly, eating some good food, some crawfish and beignets. Like I said, it's just, I hate that term, Super Bowl or bust. I think it's Super Bowl or bust within the next 4 years. As long as Jared Goff is the quarterback, that is your window. That is your window to win at least one Super Bowl. And if we want to talk about dynasties and 20 years of success, then we have to mention like Hendon Hooker and all that. But I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about these next mainly 3 to 4 years. We have to get one within that window because it's hard. These windows in the NFL do not stay open for long. That's why dynasties are so great, because they don't happen often, and when they do, it's because a lot of good things happen for that organization, like the Patriots, who just went on like a 20-year run, or the Chiefs that are kind of in the middle of a dynasty right now. Like, it's because they have greatness. We have a great front office. We have a great coaching staff. We have great drafts. We need to see that translate. I hate the term Super Bowl or bust, because that ensues that if you don't win a Super Bowl, it's a failure. And I get it. It's a competitive league. Only one team can win the Super Bowl. You're the Detroit Lions and you have 32 other teams trying to do the same thing. Tough. It's hard. It's not easy. That's why a lot of people say that the Stanley Cup is the greatest trophy in all of sports. I think it's the Lombardi Trophy. No disrespect to hockey fans. I'm a diehard hockey fan myself. But in hockey, you play best of 7. In the NFL, you get 1 week to survive, 1 week to prepare. You get one single game. You either move on or you don't. It's that simple. It's not a series. That's what I love about the NFL. It's do or die. It's show up or go home. No, there's no questions about it. So I hate the term Super Bowl or bust. I do believe there's a Super Bowl or bust stigma over the next 3 to 4 years. But when it comes season to season to season, I hate putting that kind of expectations, I guess, out there that if I don't win a Super Bowl, it's a bust. And it sucks, because I get it. I want to win the Super Bowl every single year, but I have to be realistic. I know that the next 20 years, the Detroit Lions are not going to win 20 Super Bowls in a row. So are all those seasons you don't, are they bust? Like I said before, I can go to the games and have a damn good time, make some great memories with my family and friends. But at the end of the day, if the Detroit Lions don't win, I'm miserable. I'm not a good person to be around. I know I have to jump on here and do some episodes. And if you guys have seen some of our post-game shows after we've taken a loss, my cheeks are red, my ears are red. I'm all pissed off. I'm not happy. I need about 24 hours to calm down. But I hate that term Super Bowl or bust, guys. I just hate it. Lastly, this is kind of one of my longer shows, but I do want to get into the schedule. And again, I'm not doing a full game-by-game prediction, because we will save that for our game day episodes. But I do just want to look at the schedule real quick, and my computer's doing something weird. Here we go. All right, let's just look at the schedule. Like, here it is. This is shared from One Pride Nation. I retweeted it on Twitter. Listen, this is a tough schedule. Right off the rip, Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are two teams who we played in the playoffs last year and ended their season. Tough game. Arizona. Kind of feels like that should be a gimme game, but again, any given Sunday, you never know what's going to happen. Seattle, who's had our number the last X however many years, that's a tough game. Early bye week, I've spoken my piece on that. I think the Lions got screwed on the bye week. That's just way too early. That's a long season after the bye week was my only complaint. But hey, I know Dan Campbell will have the boys ready. I'm not worried about mindset. It's just kind of, week 5 and we're trying to heal bumps and bruises. I'd rather be doing that like week 9 or 10, but whatever. Come off the bye, Dallas. That's a tough game at Dallas. As much as I hate them, I think they're beatable. We should have beat them last year. Refs absolutely jobbed us, had money on the game. I don't know what was going on. And if you know me, I hate bitching about referees, but that's a tough game. Minnesota kind of going through a rebuild. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they still have Justin Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game, and definitely the best in the game right now today. Tennessee, kind of a young up-and-coming team. Don't really exactly know what's going to be going on there offensively. Defensively, they made some nice moves in the draft and their offseason. Green Bay, that's a tough game. I mean, it's a division game. You know how that's going to go. Jordan Love, they pounded us on Thanksgiving. We pounded them early in the year. That's kind of a coin flip game. These next 3 games, this is what I'm looking at on the schedule right here at 10, 11, and 12. Houston, Jacksonville, Indy. Those are 3 crucial games. If we can go 2-1 somewhere in that stretch, I would be happy. It's tough because Houston's a lot of people picking them to win the AFC. A lot of people are very high on Houston this year, and I get it. They've made some big splashy moves. CJ Stroud, I just want to see a little more from him. before I'm willing to crown him like one of the next greatest quarterbacks. Jacksonville just paid Trevor Lawrence. They're going to be a playoff team. Indianapolis, don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. Anthony Richardson. I think Indy's kind of a little sneaky trap game, and I will be at that game. We are going to make the trip down to Indy, me and my wife, maybe a couple buddies. We will be at that Indy game. That's going to be our road game for the year. So I am looking forward to that. Check an NFL game off my list. I have been to Indy, but not for an NFL game. And then we roll into Thanksgiving. So a short week after Indy too. So we'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. Boom, Thanksgiving, where we've kind of had some trouble. First look at Caleb Williams. I think that's kind of the X factor. It kind of sucks that we get him in week 13 because I feel like those first 12 weeks he's gonna, he's gonna learn some stuff. I have to give Caleb some credit. He's gonna figure some stuff out. I wish we could get him earlier in the season where he's still trying to learn, but he'll have a decent understanding of how the NFL's working by week 13. So that Thanksgiving game, also a trap game. And I think we've lost like the last 8 Thanksgiving games. So I'd love to get that monkey off our back. Back-to-back Thursday games, Green Bay, I already spoke about them. Week 15, heartbreaker. I have to miss my first home Lions playoff game. I will be on vacation, actually flying back the day of this game, but I will be keeping tabs during flight. I will be purchasing in-flight Wi-Fi to watch this Buffalo game. Tough game. Buffalo, Josh Allen, playoff team. Like a lot of people have picked them to go to the Super Bowl for the last couple of years. Hasn't worked out. Back with Chicago, boom. And then rematch of the NFC Championship game with San Francisco, Monday Night Football in San Francisco. Don't like that. Wanted that game at home, but hey, whatever. We'll go to your place and beat you like we should have last year. And then we finish it off with Minnesota. So it's a tough schedule, guys. It's tough. Like I said, don't love the early bye week, but it is what it is. I will say that I'm going to give my official season prediction. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to win this game or that game. I see the Lions at 12-5. 12-5. I think that wins you the NFC North. Maybe puts you in the conversation for the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's kind of my medium. Is 12-5. Highest I think we go 13-4. I can see this team winning 13 games. I don't see 14. I just don't see it. I have to try to be reasonable. I have to try to be as realistic as possible. Trust me. Like I said, when we do game day shows, I'll probably be picking the Lions to win all 17 because we're that good of a team. But right here today, I can't say that we're going to do that. 13-4 would be the ceiling. 12-5 is in the middle. The floor is 10-7. 10-7, I think at least gets you into the playoffs, but I don't think it wins you the division. Green Bay is going to be tough. I think they're going to be our main competition, guys. So like I said, we will be doing game day episodes. I'm getting ready. I'm excited. I'm pumped. We'll have one here in just a few weeks when we do some preseason stuff. We're getting to be that time. Training camp has started today. This is the official kickoff of the NFL season, in my opinion. So I can't wait for some football. That's my predictions. This episode kind of came from a member. I posted a poll in our members page. If you guys want to become a member, there's a link in the bio. Not required. Greatly appreciated. And I kind of just asked what were some questions you guys that wanted me to talk about. And a couple people had said that they wanted to hear some predictions. So I kind of twisted it. Didn't want to do a game by game prediction, but at the end of the season, like I said, 13-4 is my ceiling. 10-7 is the floor. I think we're going to be somewhere in that middle, about 12-5, which is perfectly fine with me. Guys, leave some comments down below. Kind of one of my longer episodes. I covered a lot. Leave some comments. Stick around, hit that like button, and I will be back later with another show.